All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing, is 2020 the worst year in history? Stick around. I'm going to have a live panel joining me to discuss this. All of that and much, much more is coming right. From Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure on your smartphone, your tablet, your iPhone, your Android, or anywhere that you have the YouTube app installed on, you must also make sure that the YouTube app is set to receive those notifications at a device level. You do all of that, and you're good to go. You're good to go. You're all set to go. Welcome to the show, everyone. How are you all doing on this beautiful, beautiful Saturday evening? I've got to tell you, the weather has been absolutely amazing here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I live. It's been about 73, 74 degrees here in Redwood City, California, where I live. The sign downtown says climate best by government test. And while it costs an arm and 2 or 3 legs to live out here, I got to tell you, it is worth every penny. This weather is absolutely incredible, and I feel very blessed to live in such an awesome place. Not taking anything away from wherever you folks live out here in YouTube land, but I love being here in the Bay Area. There's no place like home, and I'm sure you feel the same way regarding where you live. All right, we've got the usual culprits joining us right now. Let me make sure that the notification actually went out. It certainly did, and I just want to make sure that the stream status, I can't even talk, is doing okay. It looks like the stream health is good. And we're already starting off with 9 people in the box here. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight, we're going to be discussing what I feel is probably one of the hottest topics out there right now, the year 2020 itself. You know, we're in July. We're in the second half of 2020. And unless you've been sleeping for the first entire half of this year, I'm sure you are aware that this has been one of the most interesting years that we've lived in. I would have to say not only during my lifetime, but 2020 is probably one of the craziest, and in my opinion, one of the worst years in our world's history. And tonight, in just a little bit here in a few minutes, I'm going to be bringing on a panel of people to discuss this, primarily my moderators. So let me just go ahead and do that. My moderators are already out there in the chat. So give me just 1 second. Let me check out the chat there. We have Muttnuts World's in the house, moderator and channel member for 2 months now. Muttnuts World, hey Eli and everyone. Hey Mutt, welcome to the show. Queen Helen Casey's in the house. Head moderator Queen Helen Casey. Hello Eli, smash the like button for Eli. Yes, please do smash the like button. We have 6 likes so far. Let's get that up there. Let's get 20 or 30 likes in this stream. That would be great. Queen Helen Casey says, hello Mutt. Mutt says, hey Queen. Super Steph. Moderator Super Steph, and also channel member for about a month now, is in the house. She says, I'm here listening. Well, I did invite her on the stream, but she feels a little more comfortable just hanging out in the chat. Make sure you mod the chat, Super Steph. I'm sure we're going to get trolled pretty heavily on this show. I did beef up my Nightbot security and my YouTube security to automatically take care of most of the trolls and haters. But, you know, every now and then 1 or 2 will slip through. And because Queen and Mutt are going to be on the show, they're going to probably try to pull a fast one. Let's see. Queen Helen Case says, the Great Awakening is here. Well, yeah, Queen, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about 2020. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now is I am going to actually put the StreamYard link in the chat, and I'm going to have Mutt Nuts World and Queen Helen Casey join me. If anyone else would like to join the stream and share their thoughts, you can go ahead and click on the StreamYard link. It'll put you backstage. I'm only going to be bringing people on that I recognize. I'm not going to be bringing on any accounts I don't recognize because I do not want to have any trolls or haters come onto the panel and ruin the show. If somebody slips through the cracks, we'll just immediately remove you and block you through StreamYard, which is what I'm using to bring people on. And that will be that. But I would prefer to minimize it and not let it happen at all in the first place. So this is the link to show. Let me just put the StreamYard link in the chat there, and I'm going to wait for Queen Helen Casey and for Mutt Nuts World to join me backstage. I will check that out in just a second, ladies. In the meantime, let me just share my thoughts, my initial thoughts about 2020, and I'm sure the ladies are going to have a whole lot more to bring to the table regarding this. So this year has just been very unfortunate. We've seen some of the craziest things happen. First and foremost, obviously the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. Broke out pretty much late last year, but it just kind of took off like a rocket, and then it started to affect us here in the U.S. where I live at the beginning of the year. So that's been the most major story of the year. Then we had the George Floyd situation where, the Minneapolis Police Department used excessive force on a man that, wasn't necessary to use that much excessive force or any excessive force at all, and they ended up killing the man. Oh, Mutt, you're already there. All right, Mutt, let me go ahead. Let me do this real quick here. Let me go ahead and switch over to the quad screen, and let me go ahead and bring Mutt on the show. Give me just 1 second there, Mutt. Mutt, are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there? Hello, Mutt. Can you hear me? Why is Mutt not able to hear me?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay. I thought that my setup. How you doing, Mutt? And let me also bring on Queen Helen Casey is backstage. Let me add her to the show
can
here.
y'all hear me?
Queen Helen Casey, are you in the house? Oh, there you are. There you are. Hello, Queen. Are you there? I'm hearing some feedback.
It's delayed.
Well, it's just feedback coming through Queen's phone there. Queen, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hold on, let me get. Oh my gosh.
Queen's getting situated over there.
Give my goddamn headphones back.
This is the first time I'm actually using StreamYard. I typically will bring people on through Google Hangouts, but because YouTube no longer integrates Hangouts like they used to with Hangouts on Air, and people are using StreamYard, I decided to test it out, and it seems to be working quite well. So it looks like Queen actually just left the show. Colin's Trivia. Colin, do you want to join the show, Colin? I'd love to bring you on. Colin, I have the StreamYard link in the show, or sorry, in the chat there. I'd love to bring you on, bro. So go ahead and just click on this link. Colin, in the chat there, go ahead and click on this link, and we'll bring you on as well. It's a great pleasure to see you here, brother. And let me see if we can get Queen Helen Casey back in. Let me add her back to the stream.
So go ahead and just click on this.
Eli accidentally let me.
Queen, you got to turn off the YouTube viewing. Go ahead and mute the YouTube viewing of this.
God.
Let me see if we can get Queen and Casey back there. Let me add her back in the stream.
All right, folks, just hang on
Hello?
1 second. Yeah, we're there, Queen. We're here. Queen, just mute your YouTube viewing or pause your YouTube viewing on your phone so it doesn't feed through. I think we're good now. All right, Queen, are you there? I'm still hearing some feedback, Queen. Okay, Queen is muted until she fixes this. Well, Mutt, until Queen actually gets her audio situation situated, how's it going, Mutt? Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Mutt, you're muted. Okay. Mutt Nuts World. Hello, Mutt. Are you there? Oh, be right back. Need to reboot myself. Looks like my panelists are having some technical difficulties. Let me go on my laptop. Okay, Collins Trivia will be joining us momentarily. Queen, are you there? Is your audio situation all situated now?
I'm here, but my phone is not letting me have any sound.
It's not letting you have any sound regarding what?
I'm trying, but it's not letting me.
Okay, well, I can hear you just fine, Queen. The only thing is that you have the YouTube viewing playing, and you have to go to your YouTube app and pause the YouTube viewing so it doesn't feed back into the show. Queen?
The only thing is that you have the YouTube viewing playing, and you
Okay.
have to go to your YouTube app and pause.
All right, Queen, I'm going to go ahead and just put you backstage, and I'm going to just type in the
I
chat.
turned my tablet down, but I can't hear you on my phone.
Okay. Well, are you using your phone or your tablet to actually get on the show? Which one are you using?
Chat.
Okay. Well, folks, I apologize for the technical difficulties here that my panelists are having. We'll get that all situated here in a bit. It didn't kick you out, so you can come back on the panel. Okay. So anyway. Yeah, but I'm just waiting for you to come back on. You, Collins Trivia. Let me add Queen back in there. Queen, it looks like you're back. Queen, I can hear you just fine now with no feedback.
Nothing.
And let me get Mutt back on here. Hey, Mutt, welcome back. Hello, is there a delay with you folks hearing me, or Mutt, can you hear me okay?
Are back yet or not?
You are back.
I gotta,
Are you there, Mutt?
Okay, am I back?
Yes, can you hear me?
But I hear you, but I don't hear
Why is it-
Eli.
I can hear you, but for some reason I am delayed bad.
I can't hear Eli.
I should be going through crystal clear. Were you able to hear me earlier?
Yeah, it's like YouTube is delayed.
All right, yeah, you cannot watch YouTube. You gotta just watch. You gotta listen through StreamYard.
I can hear it because I got him in my other ear.
Right. You cannot watch the YouTube viewing
I
to
have
be
him
on
in
this
my
panel.
other ear.
Right.
Well, I can hear you, but I don't hear Eli.
Yeah, Mutt. Okay. Oh,
See, that's the
boy.
thing. We're not hearing you through the StreamYard.
All right, give me a second. Can you ladies hear me now through StreamYard?
Oh, well, now we can hear you.
Okay. Apparently, I just figured something out. I have to add myself to the stream in order for you ladies to be able to hear me. Okay, because it looked like it was going through, but I have to add myself to the stream. Okay, so Mutt, can you hear me now? And Queen, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so we got it all situated. How's it going, ladies? We're gonna have Colin's Trivia, aka Colin Butters, joining us in a few here, and we may bring on some very special guests. I just want to make it very clear to anyone in the past that's been banned from this channel. I am not welcoming you on the panel. I know there are some people that have tried to come on backstage, and if you do try to come onto the panel backstage, and you're somebody that's been banned from the past for creating havoc on this channel, I'm just going to ban you from my StreamYard. So you're not going to be welcome here. But anyway, let's get right to it here. I know we kind of had some technical difficulties to get down to the point here. How's it going, first of all, Mutt? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Okay. I mean, I don't understand why now you can't hear. Mutt, can you hear me? Ladies,
I'm
Queen,
just
can
trying
you?
to get rid of these technical difficulties right now.
And Queen, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, Mutt, I don't know why you're not. Are you not
I
able
can
to hear me,
you,
or?
but I don't know what's going on my end.
Okay, I can hear you and you can hear me. How's it going?
I think Mutt's still having a problem.
Okay, Mutt, until you figure out your issues, let's get to Queen. Queen, how are you doing today?
I can hear you, but I don't know what's going on my end.
Well, if you can hear me, all you have to do is respond to my questions and we can hear you back.
Because every time it's like it takes me a while to get stuff to come out. It's like
Well, Mutt, if you're watching the YouTube viewing, you need to pause the YouTube viewing and listen to the StreamYard audio because the YouTube viewing is on a 25-second delay. All right, Queen, how's it going? Welcome to the show. We'll get this thing going eventually. We've got the technical difficulties all sorted out here. So, Queen, I know that you are very heavily involved in the political world of things, and I know you have a great presence on Twitter. I've been following you now for a little while on Twitter, and I even have all notifications turned on, and you're quite the advocate out there. Why don't you share with us your thoughts about 2020? What do you think about the first 6 months of this year, and do you feel, in your eyes, this is probably one of the worst years in history?
Well, basically what it is, the Democrats, they are doing everything they can to take over this country by doing communism, fascism, everything else you could think of, forcing people to wear masks when some people have medical conditions and they should not be wearing a mask. And by the way, I will be making a phone call to the state's attorney general office Monday because Andrew Cuomo's been pushing his weight around long enough.
Yeah, and I know. Hey, Colin, welcome to the show.
Hang on. Let's have a listen on.
I'm gonna mute you, Colin, until you're ready, man, because the feedback's coming into the show. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Colin, when you're ready, and there's no sound coming through, but you're already on the show right now. So, Queen, go ahead. You're talking about Andrew Cuomo, and I know you've had some words to say about his CNN anchor brother, Chris Cuomo, as well. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, those two has been Epstein mansion in case a lot of people didn't know it, because if you check Epstein's flight log, a whole bunch of pedophiles is right on there. They all been to Epstein's mansion, so you know there's a lot of pedophilia going on and everything. So there's with this COVID-19 thing, which is a fake virus that Dr. Fauci stole from Judy Mikovits. He turned the common flu into a COVID-19 to kidnap the entire world, because that's what it was designed for. And somehow he knew in 2017, October of 2017, he said, "Oh, the world or the next administration is going to see a pandemic." So this was it. It started in March, which nobody even expected it. And then now the Democrats are doing everything they can to throw everything at Donald Trump, because he's giving the country back to the patriots where it belongs.
Okay. Interesting thoughts to start off the show. Thank you for sharing that, and we'll get back to you in a second, Queen. We have Colin's Trivia on here, aka Colin Butters as well. Hey, Colin, how's it going, man? Can you hear me? Colin, can you hear me, bro?
Some delay. Oh,
there is. Colin, are you there, man?
I can hear you perfectly, but it's going to be a few seconds delay.
All right, man. Go ahead and mute when you're not talking. Folks, when you're on the panel, please mute your microphone when you're not talking, so I don't have to do it here in my back end. And that way your feedback will not come through while you're doing something else. I'm going to go ahead and bring and add Mutt back onto the stream. Hey, Mutt, you're back. Can you hear me okay? You're muted now, Mutt. I got to unmute you. Oh, I cannot unmute you because you muted yourself. Mutt, you're going to have to unmute yourself, because I actually cannot unmute you because you mute yourself. It says can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. Mutt, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry about that. I just had a bunch of people in my room.
No worries. Are you good now? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All right, fantastic. How's it going, Mutt?
It's going.
What's wrong? Why don't you share with us your thoughts about 2020 besides the moment you're having currently right now?
2020 for me went to the crapper in January. My 2020 got ruined the end of January, beginning of February, because it ruined my vacation. It ruined 10 or 15 events that I'd be going to. I mean, 2020 just totally ruined, this pandemic's ruined everything for me. My summer has gone to the crapper because I'd have been on vacation, and that vacation, there's a big event that happens that got canceled. Then several other events we go to got canceled. Luckily, we got the fireworks. We're getting to put my words politically correct, we're getting a pee poor crab derby this year.
Are you talking about piss poor?
So,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Occasional profanity is allowed on this channel. I won't get demonetized for that, as long as it's in the right context.
That's not really what I wanted to say.
What did you want? Oh,
that's
okay.
not what I really want to say about it, but so
you're being tame. You're being tame, is what you're saying.
My 2020 went to crap in the end of January, because we would have been booking for our hotel and all that. Like February and March. We'd have went on vacation in June. Then we'd have had events this month that got canceled. We have events that would have happened next month that are canceled, and even events that are supposed to happen in September that are canceled.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've had a lot of fun. Now, let me ask you, Mutt, and then I want to get to Colin here. I think Colin's ready in a second, and then we'll get back to Queen after that. So besides, how 2020 has affected you, how do you feel 2020 has affected the world. Like all these events that have been happening. You got the COVID-19
Pretty much the
pandemic.
same
You
way
got
it's affected me.
okay.
It's pretty much put people in the mood to, really want to like maybe possibly blow something up. That's why I play Minecraft, because I can blow everything up.
You can do it legally when you're playing Minecraft, right? All right. Let me do this. Let me get the call on real quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the panel round robin, and we're going to discuss all of these major events that have happened in 2020 and get some feedback one by one. And then anything else you folks want to talk about. And if anyone else wants to come on, you're welcome to come on. Again, if you are a normal person, you're not a troll and hater from the past that's been banned here, trying to get on the show. I know there have been a few people from the past that have tried to get on. You're banned immediately, so don't even try it. You cannot come on the show unless I bring you in from backstage, and you'll never make it to the actual stage. So don't even try. Don't waste your time. Let's get to Colin's trivia. Colin, can you hear me okay? Are you able to unmute and come on?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
How you doing, man? Is that a new microphone? Is that the Blue Yeti?
Yeah, that's my new microphone, yeah. It is the Fan YANMAI microphone.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You got a nice pop filter on that as well, too, huh?
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like you're stepping up your YouTube game, huh, brother? Oh, I see.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Well, that's great, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Colin, let me ask you something. I believe I remember correctly, you're in the UK, right?
I am, yes. And
United
it's
Kingdom.
1:40 in the morning.
Whoa, well, dude, I'm so blessed to have your presence here at 1:40 a.m. I'm pretty sure I'll still be up when it's 1:40 a.m. in my neck of the woods. It's only 5:40 p.m. where I'm at. Where the ladies are at, it's 8:40 because you ladies are on the East Coast here in the U.S. But no, thank you for staying up for us and being here, Colin. I appreciate that, man. Let me ask you something. The year 2020, I know you had something traumatic happen to you last year. You've been through so much. You ended off 2019 going through some things. I don't know if you want to remind us here in a second. And then after you took care of all that, here comes 2020 and all these crazy things happening, coronavirus. I'm sure it's really affected you folks out there in the UK as well, right? And all these other things happening as well, too. What are your thoughts about 2020, man?
Well, I think so far 2020 is a pain in the backside, basically.
Pain in the ass, Colin?
Yeah, pain in the freaking ass, I can tell you.
Thank you, brother. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Would you like to add anything else to that? Or does that say it all, man?
Well, that says it all, really, because some of the people know what I've been through. Like yourself, Eli. You've known what I've been through.
Right. You've also publicly, stated it. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that to make the new viewers aware of what you've been through? Are you okay to share that again, really, very briefly here, Colin?
Yeah, I'm okay going through that. I've kind of been in hospital of this year early. Round about the second week of January for an amputation of my lower right leg. And then after that, the marriage kind of broke down, we separated. And I've started to walk again with a prosthetic leg. And I've got myself a little flat of my own, so that's okay. But when this virus hit, I was actually in a safe place. I was actually in a rehab hospital
Okay.
when this main kind of thing hit all over the world.
So you basically, went through what you went through with your amputation of your leg, rehabilitation. You were married and you went through some things with your wife because of that, which I remember when we talked about that beginning of the year. I was just blown away that, you're a good man, and marriage vows are till death do us part, right? In sickness and in health, till death do us part. And to hear such a good guy like you, to have a woman that basically did not live up to those marriage vows, it breaks my heart for you, bro. Seriously. And I have to say that I'm very proud of how you've handled yourself. I'm very proud of how strong you've been. You worked through it. You got your prosthetic leg. I believe now you said that you moved out and you got a different place on your own, huh?
I have now got myself a little place. I've got, but the flat, what I've got, you lot call it an apartment, but us UKers call it a flat. I've got like
Flats,
a
right?
living room, kitchen, dining room, bedroom, my own front door. So I'm trying to look on the positive side of life. Got myself a new friend, Mike. I haven't got a green screen up tonight, but I'll have it up tomorrow.
Fantastic. I can kind of tell that you've been playing with some settings because your image around you is coming around with this. It's showing the static like of a green screen, but I totally understand what's going on. So you got a green screen too, huh?
That is, but that's in the cupboard at the minute. Oh, Mutt, no, don't rub it in.
Don't rub what in?
Because she's got a green screen on, I haven't. But mine's
I got a green screen too. I love my green screen. I love my green screen, man.
You can
see your icon?
Because I have to open that door to kind of put it across there.
What is that? Is that your cupboard?
Yeah, that's my cupboard there, yeah. My breakfast cupboard.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
At the minute, if I do live streams, I have my icon on. But if I've got previous, I kind of do different pictures and things like that.
Oh, great. So you've been working on, stepping up your YouTube game a little bit, huh?
I have a little bit, yeah.
Good. What inspired you to do that?
Well, I've got more time on my hands, so I'm kind of thinking, what should I do to pass the time? So my sofa is facing out into the communal garden, so I sit there, film birds like pigeons, things like that, upload them, sort out the videos, sort out questions for trivia, kind of things like that, basically.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Excellent, man. Well, I'm glad that things are getting better for you, man, and you're stepping up your YouTube game. Now, let me do this. I'm going to go back to Queen Helen Casey, and we're going to go round robin and discuss, everything I can think of that happened so far in 2020. Queen, let's go back to you. We already discussed the coronavirus. Pretty much everyone's been mentioning the coronavirus. That's been the big thing, right? It's been kind of played out. But there are other things that have happened besides that. The very next thing that I would like to talk about is the George Floyd situation in Minneapolis. What are your thoughts about that? what are your thoughts about police using excessive force when they don't need to, and then either severely injuring or even killing people like George Floyd?
Well, first of all, that video was fake. And I could understand the police brutality is real. I could understand that. But that video that came out, that's a fake video because it was perfectly crafted together by taking bits of parts here and there. And so when I saw the real video on Twitter, they had the timestamp, because that's what you got to look for, is the timestamp on it. The fake video that we saw did not have a timestamp on it. So that's one of the main things you got to look for, is the timestamp of the video of when it was recorded and what date it's been recorded.
Okay, why do you think, Queen, that they would try to make a fake video on this? Who do you think made the video? The Minneapolis PD or it's the mainstream media? Like, who do you think?
It's the Democrats. They're throwing everything at Donald Trump because they don't like him. They want him gone, but, you know, he just ignores the Democrats because he doesn't want nothing to do with them. And they're doing everything they can to get him out of the White House because he's giving the country back to America after the Democrats stole it from us. They stole everything from the Patriots.
That's very interesting. I never actually thought of it that way, but it actually does make sense. And people in the political arena are that shady to pull stuff like this. So, you know, anything is possible when it comes to our politicians. Is there anything else you want to add on to that situation, Queen?
So if you read on the history of the Democrats, only them, not the Republicans, even though there's some bad ones too, but that's besides the point. But if you read the history of the Democrats, they're the ones that started the KKK thing between, it was Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. They're buddies with Robert Byrd, who is also a Klansman. So you got to read the whole history on the Democrats of who they really are. And what they're doing now, they're using ideology, they're using symbolism, everything they could think of. And it caused a lot of confusion for everybody.
Wow. It's pretty sad that people have to stoop so low just to get attention. You know, they just can't fight fair.
Yeah, they do. And this is what they only care. That's why they're showing their true colors, who they really are. This is why they're having statues removed and everything.
Yeah. I always have had the attitude, Queen, of why can't we all just get along? You know, it shouldn't be about, you know, left versus right, you know, liberals versus conservative, etc. And let me mention it again, just in case there are some new people here that don't know any of us. So Queen is pretty much slightly on the right. She's a slight right conservative. I'm slightly on the left, slight left liberal. But I like views from both sides that make sense, and I get along with everyone as long as they're not an extremist and project their views onto me. Like, see, I can respect Queen's views because she's not here projecting her views onto anyone. She's sharing her opinions, which, you know, some of them are facts, some of them are opinions. But it's very interesting, and this is all I've ever wanted to create partially out here. Throughout my YouTube experience is I want to talk with people that have opposing views in a civil manner because I can learn from them and they can learn from me, and together we can work together and make the world a better place. And I have to say Queen Helen Casey is one of the few conservatives that is very respectful, and we can have a conversation. And there are things we do agree on and things we disagree on, but at the end of the day, we can respectfully disagree and still be great friends. And she's the head moderator here and always will be. I mean, I respect that. So thank you again for that, Queen. I just wanted to mention that out there to the new viewers. Anything else you want to mention on this, or should I get to Mutt and get her opinion about the Floyd incident?
Now, if you can go to Facebook or Twitter, please follow Diamond and Silk. They are wonderful ladies. I'm always on their Periscope live stream every day when Donald Trump goes live. And these ladies, they don't put up with nothing. So it's Diamond and Silk. You can follow them on Twitter. You can follow them on Facebook. You could also follow them on YouTube as well. And these ladies are wonderful.
Fantastic.
And they got a new book. And they got a new book coming out next month. It's called Uprising. So if you could pre-order that book, you can go to their website. I forgot what it is, but it's on. You could pre-order on their website, and they tell the truth about everything. That's why I find a lot of truthers, and I follow them.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that yesterday when we had that private Hangouts conversation with, Colin, who's here as well, and Mutt, who's here as well, myself, and then who else was on there? It was Alex, the beer master. I was kind of hoping Alex would get the message, but he's probably busy today. I would have loved to have had Alex on this panel as well. But yeah, Queen, it's these truthers you find. And the information that you share is very fascinating. You are very unique with what you do. Do you realize that there aren't a whole lot of people like you?
Yeah. And I just found out about Mark Zuckerberg. It's not who you think he is. That's not his real name.
Oh, really? Good old Marky Mark who started Facebook?
Yeah, that one. That's not his real name. His real name is Jacob Greenberg, and he's related to David Rockefeller, who's a Rothschild. That's his grandson.
Wow. It's Mark Zuckerberg. Go ahead.
What you got to do, you got to connect the dots everywhere to figure out who they belong to, because this is the only way you're going to get the truth anywhere.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Queen, because Zuckerberg's story on how he started Facebook and where he got the idea from was already interesting. He pretty much stole the idea from the two brothers that basically started the original Facebook, and then I believe they hired Zuckerberg or whatever his name is to work with them. And then Zuckerberg took it to the next level and ran off with their idea. Now down the road, he did settle with those brothers, I think for like 150 million. So those dudes made 150 million, which is not, a small chunk of change. It's a lot of money, but Zuckerberg is worth a lot more than that. These brothers could have been billionaires instead of just millionaires, right? So, it's funny to me that the rich people have at least a little bit of shadiness within them. And see, for me, I have no shady side to me at all. Like, I'm such an honest, ethical, and genuine person. I mean, I do well, and I think I'm going to be as successful as I could possibly be, but I don't think I'll ever be a billionaire. I don't, because I don't think I'm shady enough to be a billionaire. You know what I mean, Queen?
Oh, it's not worth being a billionaire, because with these millionaires and billionaires, they're all the evil ones, because all they care about is money. They don't care about the people at all. They're just using people as pawns.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You remind me, Queen. Maybe Mutt will remember this song. Remember, I want to be a billionaire so effing bad. I don't want to say it. I mean, I won't get demonetized, but buy all of the things I never had. Remember that? Travie McCoy. Yeah, I remember that song. It came out, gosh, it was a little over 10 years ago or so. Mutt, are you there? You can unmute, Mutt. You're shaking your head. You can unmute. Mutt? Are you on a delay or what? Why is it taking so long for Mutt to react?
I couldn't find my mute button.
I couldn't find the mute button to unmute because I was laughing hysterically muted. All right. All right. Do you remember Travis
that
McCoy? Right?
song
Remember Billionaire?
That song is like 10 years old.
What's that?
Yeah, I think it is like 10 years old.
Yeah, I think it's even a little bit
I
older
believe
than
it is
10.
about 10 years. That song is probably
Yeah.
about 10 years old. Maybe older.
Yeah, because every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights. Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna sing, man. I'm a horrible singer. But anyway, Queen, thank you. Hang on, Queen, because there's a lot more to talk about here. Let me get to Mutt here and ask Mutt about the George Floyd situation. Because I know we've talked about this stuff behind the scenes through our private conversations, and everyone that's on this panel right now is a moderator here on this channel. Much love and appreciation. But what are your thoughts about the George Floyd thing in your own words?
From what I've been following with it, him and that cop had altercations previous at some club that he worked at. They both had worked at. To me, I think that cop had it out for him. And the corrupt cops are everywhere. We even have one on our own police force here in my town. How you go from a psychotic patient biting you to you punching that man in the face and beating him almost bloody, and you get promoted to lieutenant. I see that in a lot of different police departments that, they do this stuff and then they get promoted, and it's reminding me of the whole Freddie Gray all over again. That was the guy in Baltimore that they threw into the back of the police van and broke his neck. And he died, I forget how long it was, I forget how many days after it was, he died at the hospital. It's reminding me of that all over again. And you've got corrupt cops. They're not just white, or Hispanic or, African American. It's all different cops, different races.
Right.
Everybody, you have everybody going at everybody, and I look at it this way. That poor man would not want all this rioting and looting and all that going on. The peaceful thing. But when you take it to loitering and rioting and burning buildings down and defacing monuments, and let's not even go there, because Richmond in Norfolk, Virginia took almost every monument down to the point there's only going to be one statue left in Richmond, Virginia, and that is a statue of Arthur Ashe, the tennis player, because that was where he was born at, was Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, you know what, Mutt? It also reminds me. Remember the what do you call it? The Rodney King days in Southern California and LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things that started this whole thing with the police, because it was captured on camera, and that was what, 20 plus years ago, before we had
Rodney King. I think I was still in high school when Rodney King happened.
Yeah, it was about 25 years ago.
That was around the whole O.J. Simpson trial too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Rodney King
it was right around the same time.
Yeah, so I was still in high school.
Yeah, it was back during the time where we didn't have cell phones back then. Now we all have cell phones with a camera.
It's been over 25 years ago. It's had to be over 25 years ago, because my dad was on 25 years, and I remember my dad was still alive when OJ happened.
Yeah, probably closer to 30 years. Pretty close to 30 years ago. Yeah, it was a while ago. And it was captured on camera during, an era where, we had, 8mm video cameras and VHS video cameras, but they weren't as portable. Yeah, nowadays, everybody has a camera on their phone, and there's a camera in every building, every corner, every stoplight, right? So, like, if you do something, you're bound to get caught on camera. All the cops have to do is find out which camera you were caught on, and you're done. So why are people doing such stupid things? Go ahead.
I don't know if in your state it's the same way, because I know you got a lot of bridges and stuff. We have the Virginia Bay Bridge Tunnel, and we have the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And there are bridge cams that people sit there and watch all day long, watching the traffic. I mean, because coming off of the Bay Bridge Tunnel, there is one span, I could tell you there's been probably 50, 60 trucks go overboard, trailer trucks, when they come up off of there.
Wow.
You know, so there's always there's always an, as they say, what is it? What was that in that movie? There's always an eye in the sky.
Yeah, we don't have that issue here. Our bridges have been made to be as safe as possible, and we also are in earthquake territory here, so our bridges have been retrofitted for earthquake. But yeah,
we
I think
have
a lot
suicide jumper. We have people that try to commit suicide off the Bay Bridge. So, I mean, there's been 2, I think, people that actually did commit suicide because they didn't know how to swim. But normally they jump overboard and they're caught before they jump overboard. Yeah,
like we used to have that issue, the Golden Gate Bridge, one of the most famous bridges in the world, practically, it's here half an hour south of where I live in Redwood City. It's in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge used to have a lot of people that would jump to kill themselves, to commit suicide. And many, many years ago, they ended up finally putting nets along the bridge. So now when these people jump, they fall into a net. So there's no way they can commit suicide. And I'm actually very proud.
My state's too cheap to do that.
Well, I hear you. I'm not saying we're any better than you, Mutt, but there is quite a bit of money out here in the Bay Area because the cost of living is 3 times greater pretty much than anywhere else, at least.
You know how you were speaking earlier about the sign that you have about the climate? It reminded me that there's a town about an hour away from me. I'll have to look and see if I can find a picture. It actually tells how far it is from Ocean City, Maryland to somewhere in on the West Coast in California.
How far is it, like 2,500 miles?
From what I hear, there's a sign that says the same thing at that exact spot in California to how far it is to Ocean City, Maryland.
Wow.
I'll have to look that up and see if I can figure out where it's at, because I can't remember if it's somewhere on the somewhere near Santa Monica or LA County, or where it's at. I have to look it up.
Yeah, well, Mutt, it is a true story that there is a sign downtown in Redwood City that says climate best by government test, and it is actually true. My dad, I'll share the story real quick again. My dad, he passed away 11 years ago, but when he met my mother in Greece and he wanted to, give a better life to his entire family, including his parents, he immigrated his family over to the U.S. He did a lot of research and researched that Redwood City was one of the safest places to live in and had the best weather in the country. And I didn't even realize that until I got older and I saw it on the internet that my dad had done all this research back during the time when there was no internet. You basically had to have your own resources to find this information out. Redwood City is right smack in the middle between the San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. So you have this microclimate that, whenever it's 100 degrees, like in the valley, which is, 40, 50, 60 miles east of Redwood City, it's typically 10 to 15 degrees cooler because of that microclimate, the water coming off of one side of the bay and the other side, the Pacific Ocean. And I don't know if you folks knew, but the San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco is the gateway to the Pacific Ocean from the SF Bay. So basically, the SF Bay is a spillover from the Pacific Ocean. And then it goes down the peninsula to where I live, and it creates that microclimate that just gives us amazing weather. So it is a true story. And just looking back, I'm 46 years old, looking back 46 plus years ago before I was born, and my mother and father and my father's side of the family, my mother moved out here and they did that research. I'm like, wow, my father went through all of that to give his family the best possible life. I mean, it's just, I have amazing amount of respect for my late father. So, Mutt, anything else you want to mention
Here's
regarding
the
that?
sign.
Go ahead.
There's the sign that is in California. I don't know if you can see that. It says it's 3,073 miles from Ocean City, California to Ocean City, Maryland.
You can turn it around. I put you on full screen right now. Well, let me do this. Let me get you onto full screen there.
That's the
South Lake
sign actually out there in California. And it tells you how far it is. And Ocean City, Maryland is only an hour from my house.
I've seen that sign. You know where that sign is off of? It's off of Highway 50 because you take Highway 50 to go to South Lake Tahoe or go to Placerville.
And then when that gets over here to me, it's called Route 50. We have an actual highway called Route 50 that goes right through Maryland.
Right. This is U.S. Highway 50.
On our Ocean City boardwalk, there is a sign that actually says how far it is to California.
Wow. That is interesting. That is interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let me get to Colin's trivia, and then I'm going to get to the next thing I want to discuss here. And while I start that discussion after Colin, I'm going to step away and take a quick break, but you folks can keep the show going. Colin, how you doing, bro?
Not too bad. I'm just a bit tired now because it's like 2:10 in the morning.
Well, we'll be done very soon. Are you okay? Are you okay for a few more, man? You're okay?
Yeah, I should be okay, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let me ask you this. Do you folks in the UK follow some of the news in the US? Like, did you folks hear about this murder that happened with the gentleman named George Floyd with the Minneapolis Police Department? Did you folks hear about that stuff? Do you hear any of that?
Yeah, we heard about it, and there was not a great big uproar, but there's been kind of like protests over here in the UK, and a lot of people are doing this kind of like Black Lives Matter as well. But it wasn't as bad as you lot in the States, but it was mainly protests and that. And a lot of the statues have been taken down. For instance, there was one in Bristol, west side of the UK, called Colston, a bloke called Colston. He was a slave trader when he was about, and they had to take that statue down. Well, they didn't take it down, but a group of protesters ripped them down and chucked them into the Bristol dock. So yeah, we did have a lot of sorry, Mike. We did have a lot of protest and hear about it over here.
Wow. Okay. What are your thoughts about police using excessive force, whether it's in the U.S. or UK or anywhere? Do you feel that some police just take things a bit too far because maybe they have their own issues and maybe like Queen was saying, I think it was Queen that was saying this, or either Mutt, I can't remember, that the Minneapolis police had a run-in with Floyd previously. And so that's why that policeman, basically put his knee on him and basically, from what it appears, he murdered the guy right there. Like, what are your thoughts about that, Colin? I mean, do you think they're taking it a bit too far or what?
I think they actually did take it. Well, this is me. They did take it far too far on what they actually done, because if let's say I put my knee on your neck, for instance, in that position, I would kind of say, "Oh, sorry," then I would move my knee. So at least that way, I'm still restraining the person, but I wouldn't do that. But that is a bit OTT what they actually done. Because the UK police force do use force if necessary, like taser guns, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't do what the American police do, because they train completely different, the UK and the US. I don't know about France and places like that. So, yeah, they should kind of, personally, I think they should retrain the police force. So, at least that way, they can properly restrain the person without kind of putting a knee or leg across their neck.
Wow. Yeah, man, it's very sad to me that we have peace officers of the law that get so angry with certain people that may have a criminal history or maybe reformed criminals, and they use excessive force. These are the people that are supposed to be protecting us and not killing people, even if it's a criminal that they're trying to detain. I mean, I think deadly force should only be used when an officer's life is threatened. Then it would be the same thing for any human being. That's called self-defense. But in the case of George Floyd, there was no threat at all to any of the officers. Like there was none that at least from what I saw, and then the video that was put out there. Now, if Queen Helen Casey, if what she's saying is the truth of the matter, then, maybe we didn't see the whole story. But from what we saw in that video, Colin and Mutt and Queen, there was no need for excessive force. There was no threat to any of the officers' lives. So, yeah, it just blows me the hell away. Anything else you want to mention, Colin, before we get back to Queen and have another round of questions, another interesting topic that I want to discuss here regarding 2020?
You can pass it over to Queen.
Okay. So, Queen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So the next set of questions, the next question, and this is something that I know you've got a lot to say about. And Queen, once I ask the question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away for about a 7 or 8 minute break. I will be listening on my iPhone, but I'm going to have you take over the show, have you answer the question as long as you need. And then once you're done, can you pass it over to Mutt? And then Mutt, once you're done, can you pass it over to Colin? I mean, I'll probably be back, at least before Mutt finishes, but can you guys keep passing it around until I get back? That's not that hard, is it, Queen? You're Queen.
Nah.
Queen. You run live streams as well. You know how this shit works, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So anyway, pardon my French, but you know what I mean. It's all good. So here's the question. Going back to Donald Trump's executive order regarding trying to challenge Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, where Donald Trump was a little bit butthurt because Twitter actually fact-checked a couple of his tweets. Now, I'm not angry at Donald. I'm just laughing at this. I thought it was just kind of funny because it made me, and I'm not attacking Donald, so don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's kind of funny how, I think Donald Trump expects Twitter to give him preferential treatment because he's the president. And because they fact-checked him like they would fact-check anyone, he got a little bit butthurt and then made this executive order. And he thinks that conservative speech is trying to be silenced. Now, you being a conservative, I know you're not an extremist, but you being a conservative could bring a lot of value to this. Do you feel that conservative speech is being silenced? And what do you think should happen to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act? Should it be changed to the point of where it holds social media companies liable for what people say? or should it be left the way it's left, where it doesn't hold them liable and they're able to basically moderate or, in essence, silence not necessarily conservative speech, but hate speech and vulgar language in general? What are your thoughts about that? Take all the time you need. I'm going to put you on full screen. I'm stepping away. When you're done answering, however long it takes, pass it over to Mud, okay? We good?
Yeah.
All right. It's all yours, Queen.
All right. So basically, the Section 230. Now, I've seen people get silenced on social media like Twitter, Facebook, because the truth doesn't fit their agenda. All right. And it's run by Democrats, obviously, because you can't leave them out of it. But the fact check thing, that is also run by the Democrats too. They want things to fit their agenda, and if it doesn't fit their agenda, then they silence the people for putting the truth out because they don't like the truth. And right now the Democrats are losing power because patriots are taking this country back where it belongs, because it belongs to us and not them. But the hardest one you got to deal with are the global elites. They are the worst. So with Section 230, he signed the executive order. I forgot what day it was, but and because he got tired, and of course Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's a patriot. He just happens to be in the way. And so he got tired of people getting silenced on social media. So this is why he signed the executive order, because the government is doing everything they can to silence people for getting the truth out. And I've already been in Twitter jail, so I know what it is. And it's just terrible that these truthers are in danger because they're going to be losing their platforms because the Democrats don't want the truth to come out because all they want to listen to are the lies that fits their agenda. The mainstream media is another problem too because it also runs by the liberal Democrats as well. The truth is never coming out because it doesn't fit their agenda. All they care about are lies, destruction, and chaos. But with the Section 230 of the social media, it's not for us patriots, it's for the government. But what I have seen on Twitter, I have seen people put up screenshots of their Twitter account being locked. And it's like, excuse me, how did that happen? So then I come to find out, because I'm finding truthers on Twitter, that Jack Dorsey is the CEO of Twitter. I was like, wait a minute, how did that happen? So, but with all this, people are being silenced, it's just not fair to us because we're trying to put the truth out, waking more people up. Because, with the sleeper cell, I'm pretty sure most of you have heard about sleeper cells. We've been asleep for so long that we didn't know what was coming to us, and we had a hard time, had a long sleep with the sleeper cells, and they are real. But now that people are waking up, the Democrats are doing everything they can to silence us, but it's not working. And look what Ocasio-Cortez tried to do. She tried to boycott. She wants the patriots to boycott Goya. I was like, excuse me, you can't do that. So these Democrats, what they're doing is backfiring on them, literally. They've been taking over this world for decades, and it's pathetic what they do. And all these tax dollars that you're paying the police, I stopped giving it to them if I were you. Because, and with the police brutality, yes, it is real, and it's not fun, but it's mostly the Caucasian people, about 87% of them, that are getting beat. And like I said, with this with all this mess that's going on, the Democrats are losing power because people are taking the country back, and that's what Donald Trump is doing, is giving us the country back because it belongs to us and not the global elites. They've been around, the global elites has been around for decades, and it's just terrible that they had taken everything from us. I mean, all your jobs went to China, everything was gone. And it's just a sad shame that it had to be like this. But with the Section 230, like I said, yeah, I've seen people get silenced on social media. And it's like, what? Why? What? We can't put the truth out of what these Democrats are doing? So I was in Twitter jail for 24 hours, and that was it. I did file an appeal, but then I looked at it and said, oh, well, I could delete the tweets. That if I cancel the appeal, so I did. But now I got to walk on eggshells on Twitter, so I don't get back into Twitter jail again, because the next time I'll end up losing my account, and I'm not going to do that. So I have to be careful what I say now. And it's a sad shame that it had to go this far. So, but because the governments are trying to silence people and everything else. I mean, what for? What? We didn't do nothing wrong. It's them that are doing it. I mean, we've had enough of these Democrats stealing everything from us for decades.
I'm back, by the way.
That's why,
Queen.
yeah.
Go ahead, Queen, because you made a lot of interesting points. I'd love to respond to as well. But go ahead. Let me get back to split screen here. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Queen.
and I mean, the Democrats stole everything. You name it, they took it, and this is why they're showing their true colors now. I've already watched a live stream on Facebook of a statue being removed. It's Stonewall Jackson that was removed.
Yeah. Queen, do you mind if I jump in here and respond to what you said so far?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and this is just my opinion on why some people get silenced on social media and YouTube and others don't. Because for me, I pretty much talk about everything that the people that get silenced talk about. But my channel is a monetized YouTube channel. All my videos are green, like my last 100+ streams have the green $ fully monetized, meaning that they're advertiser friendly. I don't think it's about what people are saying that's getting them silenced. It's how they're saying it. Because I think the main problem we have, Queen, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the main problem we have in this world is racism and hateful and vulgar, inappropriate language, just stating things in ways that are more so attacking people than just stating the facts. See, because you just stated the facts, right? You're not attacking anybody, Queen. You're stating your truth. You're sharing your feedback, right? And you're doing it in a very professional way with lots of etiquette, right? And here's the thing. I'm slight left, you're slight right. We get along, and I love having these conversations with you. These are the types of conversations that we need to have. But if we can, I think where the main issue is this, and we've talked about this, Queen. You've got the left-wing extremists and you got the right-wing extremists. And for me, I can't stand extremism one way or another. I don't care what political party you are from. If you're an extremist, that means that you're set in your ways. You're going to project your views onto everyone. And if whoever doesn't agree with you, regardless of your political party choice that you belong to, you're just going to be hateful to that person. If everybody looked at it, Queen, in the way that you and I look at it, and have a conversation about it in a civil manner, I don't think anyone would be getting silenced. So I can understand why some conservatives feel they are getting silenced for what they're saying. But in my opinion, I feel the reason why anyone, whether they're a conservative or a liberal, getting silenced is because of their hateful and inappropriate, vulgar, and racial ways of expressing themselves, right? You don't have to go out there and call an African American or a black person the N-word because they've done something wrong. You could say, hey, this person did something wrong. Okay, I'm unhappy with this person because they did this, not because they so happen to be African American or Hispanic or Asian, right? Does that make any sense, Queen? Or, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, racism is real, but thanks to the Democrats, they divided this country so bad that it's not even funny anymore. And now what people need to do is unite to fight these Democrats, because they're the ones that caused all this chaos, confusion, and everything else.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm not questioning you one bit. I'm not saying that the liberals are perfect, and I'm also not saying that the conservatives are perfect. I don't think anybody in the political realm is perfect. And to be honest with you, I think they're all crooks in one way or another. All of them. I'm talking people on the left, the right, and even down the middle. I think being in the political arena is one hell of a challenging position to be in, don't you think? Don't you think being in any political position, such as the president of the United States, a governor, a mayor for a local town, that holds a lot of responsibility, doesn't it, Queen?
Yeah, it does. And the one day I just happened to find a video on Twitter, and I retweeted it from somebody about Joe Biden. Oh my gosh. This was during the 1980s. All right. He was in a Senate hearing. I think it was a 1984 Senate hearing. He came out and said that now these are his words. I'm not going to even try to say that word that I want to say. He came out and said we already have an mayor. We don't need another mayor. I was like, excuse me? Where did that come from? I mean, that video's been buried. I mean, you got to dig and look for the truth everywhere.
Right.
Then there was another thing that he done. He drafted the crime bill. In other words, put every single Black American in prison for no reason at all. Then just recently, he had came out and said, if you can't figure out whether you're or for me or Trump, then you ain't Black. I was like, excuse me, where did that come from? I mean, Joe Biden has lost his marbles.
Okay. That's an interesting opinion. Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate your opinions and wow. Okay.
He's definitely racist because he's with the KKK. And once you into that, then you're racist. And so is Hillary Clinton. She's racist too.
Yeah, racism has become, it's always been a very, very big problem. As far as I'm concerned, I love everyone. I don't judge people based on their race, their age, their sex, their national origin, their sexual orientation, or their political party preference, right? I mean, if you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. If you're not nice to me, then you know what? I may give you a quick piece of my mind, as professionally as possible, that is. And then I'm just not going to talk with you anymore. I'm going to ignore that type of person and move on with my life and spend my time focusing on more positive, people, right? You know what I mean, Queen? But I get where you're coming from. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention regarding this before I get Mutt's opinion on this and Colin's? Because this is a hot topic, and if this gets changed, it's going to change a lot of things. This Section 230.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do some research on sleeper cells because that's what kept us asleep for so long that we didn't know what was going on. until now that everybody is waking up, even though there are still some sheeples that are still asleep and don't want to accept the truth because they'd rather be with the Democrats.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand. I totally get where you're coming from, and I definitely appreciate everything you're saying. And it's just, it's fascinating being able to hear the opinions from a conservative that is open to discussing these things with anyone, even if the other people are not conservatives or they're a different political party. I mean, I really appreciate the person you are, and how respectful you are to people, Queen, but you still stand up for what you believe in, and that's the most respectful thing. You mind if I get to Mutt real quick? We'll get back to you just a little bit here. We're going to go through this round, and then we're going to go one final round before we wrap up the show. And I'm going to give everyone a chance to mention anything else that they want to mention that we haven't mentioned. So, Mutt, how you doing? Are you going to unmute your mic?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Mutt, you've heard of such a.
I've had.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I look at it this way. If you're going to go out there and you're going to say something racist and vulgar or whatever, if you do the crime, you should do the time. Is what I'm saying.
I agree.
But like you said, the extremists are the ones that are silencing the people. They're not letting the people. They're just silent because it doesn't fit their thing. And I kind of do agree with Queen a little bit on Joe Biden. Only I personally met him several times. He's friends of a close friend of our family. Ever since he lost his son to cancer, he's gone kind of downhill on his political stuff.
So that's affected him emotionally to be able to perform at an optimal level. Is what you're saying.
When he lost Bo Biden, his son was governor of Delaware or mayor of Delaware and all. See, they're only a couple hours away from where I am. And like I said, I've met him him and his family several times. And when he lost Bo to cancer, he went kind of spiraled into a somewhat of a depression. And I think that has affected his political game because he used to be like that on his political game.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. That does make sense. I mean, when you lose,
but the whole communications thing, I think it should be left the way it is. And if you're going to go out there and you're going to put something, it's okay to have a rant, but look how you're speaking. Come across politically correct. And everything, and then you won't have to worry about them silencing you.
Yeah.
But then again, you've got those extremists out there. You've got extremists in Republicans, extremists, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, non-conservatives. Everybody's not going to be happy with everybody, and somebody's going to get like Trump did because he got fact checked, got his big boy panties in a bunch up his butt crack, and going to try to change things. That's not really what I wanted to say because I want to use some of the terms that we use around here for him. Considering I only live 5.5 hours southeast of Washington D.C., I'm actually basically a 5.5 hour drive right to the front of the White House.
Wow.
So my state has some bad things that they want to say to him, but they don't do it.
Yeah, Mutt, you're mentioning, Section 230, and Trump getting his panties all hurt or whatever, right?
Big boy panties up his butt crack.
Big boy panties, right? And here's the thing. Everyone has the right to say what they want to say, including President Trump. Okay, no problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and no problem with whatever he wants to say. I just think that if you're going to say something outside of your own house, in your own house, you have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want to say. If you want to be a racist in your own house, that's on you. If you come into my place and let's say, one of my closest friends is black. His name is Troy. Let's say, I have a Super Bowl party at my place. My friend Troy, who happens to be black, is at my place. And a couple of my white friends come over and they start calling Troy the N-word. It's their freedom of speech to do that, but I'll kick their ass out of my place because that's disrespectful. And that's being a racist.
I have mixed race family members and adopted family, or people who have adopted me and my mom and my sister and my nieces and nephews into their family that are African American. And you say one wrong word about them in my presence,
you're out.
I'll probably throat punch you.
Right.
I probably would throat punch the person. I was raised, you don't see color. You see a person for who they are.
Right.
You see them for their personality, their attitude. And, you don't see them for their color. Because if I cut myself and an African American, a Native American, Asian, we all cut ourselves, we're all going to bleed the same color.
I agree. Blood is red no matter what the color of your skin is.
If you look back, we all descend from Adam and Eve.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right, Mutt.
And we're all family. We're all family.
Right, Mutt. And here's the thing. Let me just get in here for a second, and you can continue, and then we'll get a call in here in a second. So it's not, even if I disagree with certain things that President Trump says, right? Some things I agree with, even though I'm slight left and he's a right-wing. I think Trump is more of a right-wing extremist. Some things he's not extreme on, but the things that he gets checked on, he's being extreme during that time, which is why he's being checked and being silenced, so to speak. It's not that anyone wants to silence him. It's not that he doesn't have the right to say what he's saying. It's how he's saying it, right? So again, if you're in your own home or your place, say whatever you got to say. Okay, that's your place. But if I'm a guest there, or if you're in my place, I'm going to either leave or kick you out if it's my place, right?
Yeah.
What did you want to say?
To me, he seems like he's using his power because he's got power because he's our president, or even celebrities. They use their power to think, well, they could say whatever they want and not get in trouble for it. It doesn't matter if you're the president, you're this celebrity, that celebrity. If you're going to go out there and you're going to say something that you really don't need to be putting all over social media, that something that, doesn't belong there, then you should be fact checked for it. If we have to be fact checked, us normal people, we have to be fact checked for our stuff. Why do people who have power not have to be think they don't have to be fact checked?
Well, that was my whole argument, was not to attack President Trump and not to attack the conservatives, because the last thing I want any conservative to think is that I'm attacking Donald Trump because I'm a liberal. This has nothing to do with my political party choice or theirs. This has to do with the fact that I think any president in office, whether they're on the left, the right, or down the middle, right? Liberal, conservative, independent, whatever, right? It should lead by example and should be held to the same standards that the citizens of our country are held to, right? So if I am susceptible to being fact checked on Twitter, so should President Trump and anyone else in his administration. There's no preferential special treatment for anyone, despite who you are. And I honestly feel that that's why he overreacted. Now, here's another thing that you folks may not remember, because I've been on YouTube for a while. And on my former channel I used to run years ago, a couple years back, they had what was called the apocalypse, where YouTube was demonetizing and removing many channels from the partner program. They changed their requirements. A lot of people lost monetization, had to requalify. And the reason why they did that is because
so close to monetization back then.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the advertisers got upset because a lot of their content was being placed on channels that were using hateful, inappropriate, and vulgar language.
Yeah.
That the people that were watching those channels that saw ads there complained to the advertiser saying that, hey, look, if you continue to advertise maxi pads on a male channel that's attacking and kicking down women, we're going to stop buying your maxi pads, right? That's one example, right? So YouTube had to change things up and create the yellow icon, meaning that if your videos are not advertiser friendly, you'll get the yellow icon instead of the fully monetized green icon, and it'll mean that you'll get either limited or no ads. You'll only get ads occasionally from sponsors that want to sponsor that type of more controversial content, right? But here's what happened too. A lot of conservatives back then, and they just happen to be conservative extremists, like Alex Jones. I don't know if you folks remember him. I'm sure Queen remembers him. Maybe Colin's heard of him. Maybe you've heard of him. Alex Jones was big on YouTube, but he was a right-wing extremist. Now, Alex Jones made a lot of great points. I'm not sitting here and kicking Alex Jones down, okay? Alex Jones is entitled to his opinions, right? The problem with Alex Jones was that he used the wrong language to talk about what he thinks and feels about things. That's what got Alex Jones booted off of YouTube. It wasn't about him sharing his opinions on how he feels about things, right? It was the language he was using. So, like
there's
I said,
a right way and a wrong way to say something.
Right. Like I said, Mutt, my channel is a monetized channel. We're talking about the same things that the conservative extremists are talking about that are getting silenced and removed, but I'm not. Why? Because I'm presenting the same thing in a more professional and mature way and non-racial and hateful way. Now, I'm not saying that all conservatives are like that, because Queen Ellen Casey is the exception. And there are there are many others. But at the same time, I'm not saying that all liberals are perfect either, because there are some liberals that have a lot of hate and are racist and all that as well, too.
There's a lot of independents that are the same way, too. They have a lot of hate.
It just so happens to be Mutt and Queen and Colin, and we'll get to Colin here in a second because we got to move forward here. It just so happens to be that the most vocal people on social media when it comes to politics are the right-wing extremists, are the extremist conservatives, specifically the right-wing extremist Caucasian men, middle-aged. These are, and a lot of these men, no disrespect, they're angry and bitter blue-collar working men. No disrespect against blue-collar working men, but these men are just bitter because other protected classes have surpassed them in white-collar jobs, and I think there's a lot of jealousy involved there. That's just my opinion, okay? But regardless,
they take that frustration and anger out on those who are trying to get their point across and try to have a friendly conversation or a friendly debate with someone about a subject.
Right.
And then they get into it and they take it so far out left field,
out of context,
that it's hard to rein it back in.
Way out of context, right, Mutt? You're saying way out of context. Right. Yeah. So again,
way out of context.
I want to make this very.
Some of those debates, and I'm like, how are they even allowing these people to even talk like this?
Right.
Why are they allowing it to be shown and stuff? But yet I go out there and I have my opinion. Yeah, there's some things I agree with Trump, and there's some things that I just think he's like lost his marbles about, but you don't see me out there bashing him and putting him down. That, I think he is a good president. He's trying to do for the country, but he has his ways of, I don't think he should have done it that way, but what can I say? Because I look at it like my grandfather used to say, you can vote for anybody. They could promise you the moon and the stars, but when they get in office, just what they're running with may change, because they're covering up or fixing messes from the president before them, and then the president before them, and the president before them. So it's a really very hard job. I mean, it's something I would never want to do.
I don't blame you. It's something I would never want to do as well. And, again, just to make this clear, and then we're going to move on to Colin here and get his thoughts about this. and then go one more time around with final thoughts and everything. Again, I don't have a problem with anyone sharing their opinions, whether they're on the left or right or down the middle. Okay, I want to make it very clear that I don't have any hate for anyone, and I don't pass judgment on anyone. If I was to even judge people on anything, it would be on their behavior and, most importantly, how they treat me and how they treat others like you, right? And that's how you were raised as well, Mutt. You weren't raised to look at
What's
people.
the saying? An eye for an eye,
Yeah.
a tooth for a tooth.
Right.
Hemorrhoides code. Treat others like you want to be treated, and they'll treat you the same.
Right. And I honestly think that, and then we got to go on the call. I honestly think that even these racial people, and the majority of them just happen to be white, right? Let's just be fair about this, right? Even if the Caucasian racist people, how do I say it's the right way? I don't really think they want to be racist. And I don't even think the reason why they use racial slurs is because they want to be or actually are racist. I think they're just jealous at the fact that some of these cultures that they're attacking in racist ways have worked hard and surpassed them. And it creates a lot of jealousy. And it's pretty pathetic because it's very insecure behavior for these, right-wing extremist Caucasian men to attack these people solely on the fact that, they're a certain race, when in essence, that's not the real reason they're attacking them. They're attacking them because they're jealous that they've surpassed them with their accomplishments. And they're trying to kick them down to make themselves feel better. It's the most pathetic
Trying
thing.
to put them back in slavery time. It's like they're still living, thinking that it's the slavery or the segregation all over again. Absolutely.
And it's just, look, when I see these 40 and 50-year-old grown, mature men behaving this way, it just makes me question what's happened to men. What happened to men? We're supposed to be grown-ass, mature men, kicking butt to continue to build our countries wherever we're at, to build our bridges, our roads, to keep the system going. We're supposed to be the rocks, right? And instead, it's just funny. A lot of these men are weaker nowadays than even women. Like, even the women have surpassed a lot of these men. And when it comes to that, they're angry and bitter about that as well. They attack women solely on the fact that even women have become stronger than them and surpassed them. So it all just has to do with these people just, projecting their insecurities, because instead of working hard to, to better themselves than where they're currently at, they would rather sit there and just try to kick other people down and bring them down to their level so they can feel better. It's pathetic. But anyway, all right, but let me get to Colin real quick and ask him about this real quick, Colin, and then we're going to go around very quickly one last time and wrap up the show. Colin, have you heard in your neck of the woods, because it's going to affect you even though this is more so in the U.S., Section 230 is the Communications Decency Act here in the U.S. that basically gives immunity to social media companies from being sued, for certain types of content. But it also gives them the right to remove content that they feel is inappropriate at their disposal. And what President Trump's trying to do is change Section 230 to hold social media companies legally responsible and to basically also more so allow any type of speech, maybe even including racism, allowed on platforms like YouTube and Facebook and all of that. What are your thoughts regarding that? Do you feel that it's good the way it is, or do you feel it needs to change, or do you feel changing it would make things worse? Do you understand what I'm talking about, or?
Kind of, but it's me. I'm not one of these political. I'm not one of these people who follow politics all that much. So
okay,
I haven't got a say on it. No offense to everyone who does follow it, but I'm one of these people who don't really follow it, but if they bring it in and sort it out, they do, or they don't, they don't. It's basically down to them at the end of the day. It won't affect me, so
Well, let me ask you this,
and that's
Colin.
basically me.
No worries. Let me rephrase it this way so I can get your opinion on this whole thing, because it's not affecting you now. But even though you're in the UK, you understand that YouTube is a US based company. The YouTube headquarters is literally 22 minutes north by car from where I live in San Bruno, California. I live in Redwood City. YouTube's in San Bruno, California. And so, if Section 230 is changed, it's not only going to affect us folks here in the US, it's going to affect the entire world that uses YouTube. So what I'm saying is that let me ask you this: do you feel that there should be more freedom of speech allowed on platforms like YouTube, including people using racial slurs and calling people the N-word and just being able to get away with it? And then instead of these companies such as YouTube having immunity from being sued by people for this type of content, now YouTube would not be immune to lawsuits, and they could be sued for this. Do you feel that there should be more freedom of speech allowed than there already is on YouTube? Do you feel people should be able to say anything they want, including racial slurs, or do you feel that the way it's being moderated now is the right way? What do you think?
I think it should be allowed, because at the end of the day, we're human beings, but there should be kind of like a limit of what we should kind of like are allowed to say on any platform, whether it's Instaface, Facebook, YouTube, any type of social platform. I think it's, like I said, it should be allowed, but to a limit type thing.
Yeah, Colin, I understand what you're saying. Like, if they were going to allow this on the platform and not shut down channels for it, I can definitely tell you one thing that I would not be okay with is that they should not be allowed to monetize that content, meaning that it's definitely not advertiser-friendly content. And I also feel that type of content should be age restricted, right? So it's one thing. It's one thing to allow that content, right? To allow hate speech and racial slurs and all that, and allow it to be fully monetized, right? It's another thing to allow it and say, hey, look, this is not, advertiser friendly. This is not the type of content that we really want here, but because you have your freedom of speech, we'll allow you to say it, but you cannot monetize it, and we're going to age restrict it, and we're going to make it more difficult for people to find your content. You see, even if they did that, which for the most part, they're even kind of doing that right now already, but they do shut down some things, right? Even if they allowed all of the hate speech and racism and they age restricted it and they didn't allow it to be monetized, these people would be complaining saying, well, why can't we monetize this? You're silencing us. No, you're not being advertiser friendly. You want to sit there and run your mouth and be a horrible human being, then you're going to have limited access to things, right? Okay. If you want to make money and have ads on your videos like I do and be able to monetize your channel, right, you need to be a bit more professional. What happened to professionalism? What happened to people being professional and courteous, right? When did that go out the window? Because it went out the window, I'd say over the last 10 years or 15 years since social media has come out, like Facebook and YouTube and all these companies, Twitter and all that, like professional courtesy has gone down the toilet. And I think it's just pathetic to see that happen. I think this world needs to become a little bit more professional. We still need to be ourselves, and you don't have to be a goody or be politically correct all the time or PC, but have some common courtesy and common decency for Christ's sake. You know what I mean, Colin? Does that make sense to you? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
anything else?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Anything else you want to mention, or should we go down to final thoughts? Are you folks ready for final thoughts?
But I'm ready for the final thoughts, definitely.
Well, why don't we do this, Colin? Why don't we start final thoughts with you, and then we'll go to Mutt, and we'll wrap up with Queen Helen Casey. What are your final thoughts? Anything else you want to mention during this show? And if you have anything else coming up on your channel, feel free to mention it. Now is the time, and I'm going to go full screen and get you on there. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, some of the things what 2020's been like so far has kind of gone to pot for the entire world, basically. And with my channel, as some of you know, I've got my trivia starting up every Sunday now. I'm on my third trivia so far.
Nice.
And the times would be, if I remember rightly, 3 p.m. for the UK. I think it would be 9 a.m. for the West Coast, like California, all the way down.
9 hours difference,
side.
right?
Think so, yeah. A little
Yeah.
bit. Central, I think that would be about 10, 11 o'clock, I think. And I can't remember.
Central would be 10, and 11 o'clock would be Eastern. Central is 2 hours difference from West Coast, and Eastern is 3 hours difference ahead. So Central would.
Thank you for that.
Central is 7 hours behind you, and Eastern is 6 hours behind you, and West Coast is 9 hours behind you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I've dealt with people in the UK before on my former channel, dude. I used to do streams with. I love you folks in the UK, but a lot of my friends from the past are just they're not really that active on YouTube anymore. So, but yeah, go ahead, man.
So that's what I've got planned. So I can't remember. Oh yeah, the questions would be 5. The first 5 would be general knowledge. The second lot, which would be 10 questions, would be about Batman. Then the third lot would be about name the moustache, and then next week name the cat, or name the dog, or name the celebrity. You know, making it a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining. And the winner would be picking next week's or the week after theme.
Okay, perfect. Anything else you want to mention, Colin?
Not in a minute, no.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to stick around, we're only going to be on another 5 minutes or so. If you need to go, I understand. But if you want to stick around to hear what the ladies have to say, that'd be great. But thank you so much, Colin. We're going to get to Mutt Nuts World. Mutt, you're on full screen now. What are your final thoughts? Anything else you want to add? It's been a very interesting show.
I'm with the last question we were talking about. Yeah, it's one thing to have your opinion and state your opinion, but when it comes to hate speech and racism, I don't think that should be allowed. I think that should be censored. As for anything else, I mean, I've got some new stuff getting ready to come out on my channel. As this live stream's been going on, I've been sitting here working on some new finding Q&As for the new tag Q&As I'm going to be doing. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming up. I have new stuff coming out on my second channel. But I'm trying to move, everything up the ladder.
Okay. Fantastic. Anything else you want to mention?
And I think my green screen is no, there's nothing else.
Okay.
Well, except my
All
green
right.
screen's going a little wonky. Starting to blend into the northern lights behind me.
Oh, no worries. Looks kind of cool. Hey, thank you so much for being here tonight, Mutt. Hang on a second. We're going to need the Queen Helen Casey and see how she's going to end this show here. But thank you very much, Queen Helen Casey. You're up.
I'm going to go get my...
All I know is I just connect the dots to everything that is going on. I just string them all together, and everything else, what the Democrats are doing. It's just pathetic what they're doing to us. I mean, with all the tax dollars are going to the police for what? Then, of course, you got these rioters, looters that are funded by George Soros. I haven't forgotten about him. But, it's just, everything's a mess right now because they're just trying to throw everything at us and we have to fight for it. And it's really sad, shame that it has to be like that. But, the Patriots, as long as we're fighting for our country that belongs to us and not the global elites, then they're just going to keep, the global elites are just going to backfire on everything because what they throw at us, it's going to go right back on them.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, Queen, and I got to say that I'm very impressed at how well you handle yourself and how well you get along with people. Despite any differences you may have of opinion, and you're a very fair person. I wish more people, were like you that are from the right, and I wish more people on the left were like me. I just wish we could all get along and have a conversation, have a dialogue, and talk these things out and find better solutions find better solutions for them. You know what I mean, Queen? Does that make sense to you? Or isn't that what it's all about, finding solutions?
Yeah, it is. But, now you've got all these protests, and I saw one on Facebook live stream that there was a protest in Ohio today at the, where was it? I think it was at the state capitol, that you have the agitators that are trying to mess with the peaceful Black Lives Matter, and the agitators are the ones that are causing all the problems.
Yeah, some people are just going to stir the pot up because they can and because they're insecure and it makes them feel better. You're always going to have those people, Queen, that love to mess and play with any system they possibly can because it just fulfills a void. It basically allows them to feel better about themselves because they just don't love themselves. They're just insecure people. That's the bottom line. It's just really sad to see this. But anyway, is there anything else you want to mention, Queen, before we wrap this up here? Because we're about to wrap the show. We're at 1 hour and 53 minutes. We're almost at 2 hours, and that's exactly how long I was thinking this show is going to last.
All I know is that people, please wake up because your country is being taken over by the Democrats, and you need to fight what belongs to you and not them. They've been doing this for decades, and you didn't even realize it until now. The Great Awakening is here. People are waking up.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Queen, and I really appreciate everything that you've had to say. And I'll tell you honestly, for the first time in 3.5 years on YouTube, I finally have found a conservative person that I can have an actual conversation with and be friends with and really appreciate that. I mean, I really value our friendship and I value who you are, and I genuinely respect your opinions, whether I agree with them or not. And quite frankly, I agree with most of what you say anyway. So, for me, it's never been about left versus right. It's always been about what's right for the best overall interest of everyone. So with that being said, Queen, thank you so much for being here. Colin, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to put you folks backstage and you folks can leave. I'm going to wrap the show in about 2 minutes. You can go back into the actual YouTube viewing if you want to hear that. And thank you very much. All right, Colin and Queen, thank you so much. Take it easy here.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So they are now off the show, and I'm going to come back full screen and wrap this up. Wow. Quite an interesting show here, folks. And look, to some of you, you may have thought that this show was pretty boring. And I know that we had some technical issues at the beginning here. My apologies. We have that all sorted out. For the next time, we're going to be, much more set for this. It's been a while since I did a panel show, but I think for the most part, it went quite well. And the bottom line is this, folks. I'm just going to say one thing before I get on out of here, because it's been a long day. It's my second stream of the day, and I want to go relax. I have a phone call to make, and I just want to eat some dinner and relax and enjoy the rest of my night. Plain and simple. Why can't we all just get along? Why do people have to continue attacking other people? If you don't like someone or you don't resonate with them, hey, just leave them alone and go focus on someone that you do like. When you focus a lot of energy on negativity, you have less time to focus on positive things. And that just shows that you're just an unhappy person to the point of where you're so unhappy that you're going to focus your time on kicking other people down just to make yourselves feel better. Why can't we all just get along? Okay? Why can't we all accept and understand each other for who we are? It doesn't mean that we have to agree with everything that everyone says to us. But why can't we respectfully disagree when we don't agree? And that's where I'm going to wrap up this show here tonight at 1 hour and 56 minutes. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. First of all, on the panel, I want to thank you, Queen Helen Casey, for joining me. I want to thank you, Muttnuts World, for joining me, and Colin's Trivia, a.k.a. Colin Butters. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you to Clifford Starks for popping in the chat, and anyone else that was here that I may have missed, anyone behind the scenes that was watching and not chatting. With that being said, folks, I'll be back tomorrow probably for just a live stream, one live stream, and then on Monday I'm going to put up the next members-only video. If you would like to get access to members-only content on this channel, you can do so for a minimum of $4.99 per month. Just click on the join button on the homepage of my channel, and then you'll find more information there. All right, with that being said, have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. We're out. We're out. We're out. We're out. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.